In November 2016, Donald Trump ascended to the presidency, and while many went on to blame the Green Party, or Russia, or Bernie Sanders, who vigorously pushed his own movement to vote for Hillary Clinton, despite being treated like absolute shit by the entire Democratic Party and neoliberal media apparatus. Others may have also crocheted pussy hats or tweeted furiously about the Orange Menace. But the movement that had grown so quickly around Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign put their nose to the grindstone and began the project of creating a formidable third party in preparation for the 2018 midterms and the 2020 presidential race. Gradually, this organization became a wide coalition of the many balkanized groups that made up the long-dispirited American left. From the more well-known Green Party to the Trotskyite Socialist Equality Party, to various anarchist collectives. The vision of a truly robust new party representing labor, the working class, and the populace more broadly began to take shape as a concrete reality. They dubbed it the People's Party, and in 2018, during the midterms, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Mitch McConnell were all unseated along with many other members of the two-party duopoly, and replaced with fresher faces and more honest and compelling voices. It was magnificent, and helped to bring in many left-leaning Democrats who had always kowtowed and been fear-mongered into voting against the Republican monster du jour out of fear instead of for something with their conscience. The People's Party grew in size and gained full-speed momentum, and didn't merely focus on elections, but continually engaged in grassroots activism and direct action. The watershed moment, of course, was when the Bernie Sanders campaign crushed the fascists and the neoliberals alike and took the White House, establishing a clear alternative to the tyranny of two nearly identical parties that merely sought to serve capital and maintain the careers of the politicians that comprised them. But of course, none of that really happened. This is a kind of leftist daydream of sorts that we'll focus on today's episode. We'll talk about wishful thinking in the political realm, be it through mind-numbingly inane fan fiction, terrible Hollywood screenwriters, or the delusional cries into the chasm of Twitter and Reddit and the like. So join us now. Place your imagination goggles firmly over your eyes and hop on the trolley into the neighborhood of make-believe.
Hi, Trolley. I think I'd like to pretend that X the Owl wants to work alone today, all by himself. And some people just don't understand why.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe. Coming at ya from Seoul, South Korea. Hard time stamp. Hard time stamp is Jason showed me a weird picture of Donald Trump and sadomasochism or something. September 21st, 2020. Time is 11:42 p.m. We got a late one coming right at you, folks. And today's basic theme is well, it's a few things, I guess. It's hero worship, like mythologizing politicians. We're going to talk about fan fiction, which is always kind of a funny thing. Get into a little bit of Heat Death of the Universe official screenwriter and confidant, best friend, Aaron Sorkin, and some of the artistic stylings of the alt-right. Why don't we start with the what was it? The outline?
Yeah,
article?
the outline. The one called No Politician Deserves Fan Fiction by Darcy Walder.
That'd be the one. Save your weird projections about our next Democratic nominee for your therapist. It's a bit snarky. Picture, if you will, the following scenario. Thanksgiving is falling apart. None of the dishes are coming together. Your timetable is all out of whack. The food is going to be cold by dinner time. Until Senator Elizabeth Warren, your beloved next-door neighbor, swings by, spreads sheets and spice rack and hot plates in tow, and calculates the optimal warming temperatures for each dish and adds the perfect spices just in time to save the entire holiday.
I don't want to picture this.
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm
You know,
if I threw a holiday party and someone showed up with spreadsheets telling me how to keep the food warm, I would for the first time in my life ask someone to leave my holiday party.
funny thing about Elizabeth Warren, though, too, is she got this sort of, this is the caricature of her or whatever, but like it seems totally undeserved as well. Like she's not some like
Math
12th
nerd.
dimensional chess planning genius. Like that was the thing, is I've got plans, but you actually look into the details and a lot of her stuff just completely fell apart. Like one of her her big environmental policy was, let's make the army greener. Nice one.
I mean,
Liz.
they already wear green.
Well, we're almost there then.
I don't know how we get more green than that.
I was picturing like
Solar panels on every soldier.
I was gonna say solar panels on tanks, but yeah, put them right on the soldiers on their heads.
Well, yeah, I mean, the soldiers march around with solar panels. The solar panels collect energy as the soldiers do soldiering stuff. And they bring the fully charged solar panels back to power America.
All right, go join the fucking Warren campaign, you traitor.
I think that I'll just run on my own now that I have a policy that's going to fix energy.
She'll come after you. She's litigious.
That's true.
Or picture this scenario. You are 12 and you are bad at sports. You have just been informed that you didn't make the cut for the middle school basketball team. So your uncle, former Vice President Joe Biden, picks you up from school, with Mom's permission, to surprise you with milkshakes and ice cream after hearing the bad news. That's just the way this whole kerflop-flop crumbles, kiddo. I did not mistakenly mispronounce that word.
That's exactly how it's pronounced.
It's so strange.
Flop plop.
I think it's supposed to be like kerfluffle plus something else.
That's
says
just Joe Biden trailing off into his mental place.
As he pours hot coffee into his no malarkey mug, he then says something off color that you don't catch because you already started looking at your phone. Okay, it seems this article is written on Super Tuesday because, she goes on to say, on this most super of Tuesdays, allow me to welcome you to the world of presidential candidate fan fiction, where presidential candidates are our personal saviors and our knights in shining armor, even if these idealized versions of them have no basis in the world of policy or even reality. So, I mean, this kind of sets up what we want to talk about, right?
Yeah. We want to talk about reality.
And the denial of such realities. And it's definitely not exclusive to, like, any particular political faction, I would say. I would say even people fairly, like, aligned with us and our very selves might, be deluding ourselves sometimes, for sure.
It's true.
But there are certain examples that are way more, like, glaring than others. Like, for example, on the right, you've got a figure like Ben Garrison, this cartoonist who makes quite grotesque and also just, like, hilarious and in their badness.
I actually looked at his cartoons today.
Yeah, you're
it was my first time.
Newcomer. How did they make you feel?
A little dirty.
Are you more into the MAGA culture now?
No, I'm at the same place I've always been, where it's like, it's strange that you guys are into this. I mean, like, there's the general, I want to call liberal things like, oh my god, look at that uneducated backwards person that believes all this shit. It's not that. It's just strange to me. It's like believing in God. It's like, I look at those pictures and I'm like, these are ridiculous. People really, really are invested in this very thing.
Yeah, so, like, for those who might not know, I mean, I would implore you to just Google Ben Garrison and take a gander, because it's something else. But
he does not like masks.
He often portrays Donald Trump as, like, very fit, muscular, Superman physique, always in the right. Yeah, I mean, they're just absurd. There's no point in really, like, analyzing them, but he's just a great example of what I would call right-wing fan fiction. And it's not fan fiction in the normal sense, like, he's not writing out long stories, but he's got a narrative going for sure with his little daily or weekly, whatever, cartoons.
Nancy Pelosi is Medusa.
Yeah, that one was a dud even for him. That was just really a lame one. But
she'll turn you to stone.
And there's another figure on the right who has gotten some popularity, maybe on the same level as, like, a Ben Garrison, but he's like the more fine art version, who actually paints, like, with some realism and sells his weird right-wing paintings. I think he sold one to Sean Hannity for a ton of money.
I'm sure he is incredibly rich,
and
which makes me very depressed, but whatever.
His paintings also have a very sort of shocking view of the world, where sometimes you'll have, like, Jesus and the founding fathers and Trump all in one image, while Barack Obama is, like, stomping on a on the Constitution. Yeah.
There's the one where Obama's the center of it, and it's like a weird like BSDM party, and there's like a mom hugging her daughter in the background, but it's weird because like it was almost like a slave auction because like everyone's like holding up dollar bills and others. I don't know. It's just a weird looking painting. I'll have to find it.
I think I've probably seen it. I've taken a look at a bunch of his stuff because it's
they're really surreal to me.
Yeah, the thing is as much as these are like repugnant people with repugnant views, they're kind of fascinating, especially if you're coming from a place of like a totally different political alignment. Yeah, it's just one of those things that seems shocking that anyone can believe in a way. It was momentarily shocking, and then you stop and think about it for a second, and it's not so shocking. But then we also have, of course, versions of this kind of hero worship on the left, which we just kind of went over, like the little bit about Elizabeth Warren coming over to save your Thanksgiving meal, and Uncle Joe Biden buying you ice cream, whatever horse shit. But some of these have become like long form, best-selling novels, and
how
there's one that I definitely did not read the whole novel because why would I? But
I thought you loved reading.
Not just anything. Yeah, there's this book called Hope Never Dies, and it's written by this real kind of hacky guy, Andrew Schaefer, whose previous title was, what was it called?
How to Survive
50 Shames of Earl Grey, which, as Jason pointed out, it's fan fiction or parody of something that was already fan fiction.
I guess fan fiction doesn't have to be parody, though. And I don't think 50 Shades of Grey was parody of Twilight.
Right, it started out as fan fiction.
It was erotic Twilight. Why choose Team Jacob or Team Edward when you can choose Team Erotica?
Why indeed. So anyway, this guy's a fucking hack, and I hate him, and I resent the fact that he is like probably very rich now because he's written not one but two of these
Hope Never
Obama
Dies.
Biden mystery novels where, yeah, the cool duo, they put on their aviator shades and.
So what kind of mysteries are they solving?
Well, in the first book, they're trying to solve the mystery of the dead Amtrak conductor.
Of course. That's very... many Americans think about their times taking the Amtrak here and there because, you know, the vast infrastructure in America and the great train system. I can't count the number of times I'm like, you know, it might be great to go to New York this weekend. I'll just take the train to New York. I'll take the fast one. Or maybe I'd take the slow one to save some money. Just easy networks of trains everywhere. I'd hate for an Amtrak driver to die. How would people get anywhere?
Well, and the connection
Sorry.
to Biden is he used to famously kind of drone on and on about his riding the Amtrak to and from Washington, I guess. I forget exactly, but this was supposed to make him seem like a regular middle-class guy. And
I feel like regular middle-class people don't take trains in America. They drive a car.
Well, and they're also not senators and vice presidents.
Which is a bit sad because it'd be cool if America had like a functioning train system. I like living in countries with functioning train systems. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, I mean, it would be the sensible thing to do, which is why it's not going to happen. So anyway, there's just this absurd book, and we're not going to get too far into it, but there's a couple bits that I think are worth maybe reading aloud because they're so stupid.
Can I ask a question though?
Yeah.
How does this Hope character relate to Obama and Biden in the book? And what keeps her from dying? Well, him. I assume it's a her, but it could be a him.
It's more of a concept.
Oh, that kind of hope.
Do you remember the 2008 campaign? You know, the one like you went to the inaugural
oh god.
The inauguration.
It was very, very cold at that inauguration.
But there was a word that got repeated a lot during that campaign.
Change.
Dig deep, Jason. You'll find the other word. Yes, it's a play, of course, on Obama's hope and change mantra.
There was some change.
All for the best, of course.
There was a lot of hope. The same type of hope I've experienced most of my life.
I did like a keyword search for a few words just for fun in this this PDF of the novel because I did not give money to this fucking crook. And the first thing I decided to search for was healthcare. That came up 3 times, and it was all within the same paragraph. And it was all just Biden thinking about this Amtrak guy. Let's go ahead and read this single paragraph where the word healthcare appears 3 times, and that's the only place it appears in the whole novel.
Can I guess what the paragraph's going to be? Because I haven't read the paragraph.
Yeah.
Joe, I've been thinking that we should try some Medicare for all. Oh, Obama, we couldn't do that. It'd be disrespectful to my son. Joe, I mean, maybe it's time I try to do some change and hope. Oh, I don't know, sir. Think about my son. You're right, Joe. I mean, I wouldn't want to disrespect him. This is not... Yeah, fuck.
The ACA it is. I gotta say, you're so close, yet so far away. No, this is not even dialogue. This is just, these are the thoughts of Joe Biden because it's all written from his first person perspective. He thinks to himself, Amtrak employees were supposed to have the best health care, straight from the United States government. Amtrak was a pseudo-private company, but I had been one of the senators who fought for them to have the same health care plans other government employees had. Oh, thanks, Joe. Thanks for fighting for just your pet project of Amtrak drivers.
Yeah, I'm glad they got health care.
Yet somewhere along the way, things had been diluted. It was no surprise that hospitals were booting patients out the door. The whole damn country's healthcare infrastructure was falling apart. Everything Barack and I had built, everything we'd built and seen.
That's
anyway,
bleak.
that's just an example of how stupid these fan fiction things are. And I mean, the point of all this is that yes, it's fine to like goof on this dumb fan fiction by this writer who's obviously just like mostly looking for a paycheck. He's probably mostly apolitical at best, like kind of a lukewarm centrist shit lib. And but these kind of like conceptions, these like ways of like needing to relate to our politicians as human, which is why, like, you know, they tell these stories and stuff like at their rallies, and I gotta say, like, Bernie Sanders never really did that, and like with the brief exceptions of when he would talk about immigration, and he would bring up his parents being immigrants, and like how hard they worked, and so on and so forth. But aside from that, I don't think there were any like, when I was a boy, I loved ice cream and blah blah blah. Like, you know, a lot of other politicians try to do to appeal to people's this sense people seem to need. I also did a search for the word. So there's 3 instances of healthcare compared to 12 instances of the word ice cream.
Oh, those are priorities. As a nation, one of those things are way more important than the other.
And yeah, so we know Biden loves his ice cream, and you know, it's just, and I'm not saying this like means anything, like really, it's just kind of amusing to me. But then for some reason I thought it would be funny to search for the word sex. Because this is like kind of like, it's fairly like homoerotic in a way. At least that's what I read about the book. And there's only 3 mentions of sex as well. And one brought me to an interesting passage here where Barack and Biden, they're actually, at this point in the novel, they've ducked Obama's Secret Service, and they're just out on their own, and they're trying to figure out what happened to this Amtrak conductor. And it like it says some tie into like the opioid epidemic and like, I don't know, a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, this little scene of them in a hotel I thought was funny. Let's see. So they realized like they have to share a bed because there's something heinous was done to the other mattress, and they couldn't get a replacement.
What happened to the mattress?
Well, that's where I'll start. Barack slid in next to me. I called the front desk, but they didn't have a spare mattress. Unless you want to wait for another room, this is it. Did they say what happened to the other one? You don't want to know, Barack said. You really don't want to know.
God, I want to know.
Well, it's a page turner. He turned off the bedside lamp. We lay in the dark side by side, each of us half off the bed, staring at the ceiling.
This is what it's like to live in the White House, I bet. Long tradition of presidents and vice presidents sharing beds.
Yeah, but very uncomfortably. They're laying it half on.
Yeah, I mean, not as partners. Well,
no, I'm saying like as like homophobes almost. It seems from this description, but or just whatever. For digging into too much minutia. We could hear the steady, gentle thumping of a bed frame knocking against the wall in the room next door. After a few minutes, the bed frame went silent. A woman cried out in ecstasy. Barack and I started giggling like a couple of kids. When we caught our breath, I was too worked up to sleep. POTUS, SCOTUS, or FLOTUS, I said. Barack turned to me. What's that? It's a game we used to play in the Senate while we were waiting out overnight filibusters. I name 3 women, and you say who do you like as your POTUS, SCOTUS, or FLOTUS. You got it. So give me the names. Nancy Pelosi, Elizabeth Warren, and Hillary Clinton. There was a long pause. Give me 3 different names, Barack said. Sorry, I can't change the rules. It's a little demeaning to women. Who came up with this game? Strom Thurmond? Hey now, Strom may not have been Pope Francis, but he wasn't sexist. He was racist, Joe. The correct term is segregationist. Oh, Barack said, staring at the ceiling. That's so much better. You're avoiding the question. POTUS, SCOTUS, or FLOTUS? Nancy Pelosi, Elizabeth, Hillary for POTUS, Elizabeth for SCOTUS, Nancy for FLOTUS. I stared at him, incredulous. Nancy for FLOTUS? Not Elizabeth Warren? You're insane. Elizabeth Warren is the youngest of the three. That's why I'd seat her on the Supreme Court, etc., etc., etc. That's what happens in this stupid novel.
So, POTUS, SCOTUS, or FLOTUS?
Of those three?
I'm racking my brain trying to think of three other names.
I mean, it's an impossible task.
Well, here's three names for you. Hillary Clinton, Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi.
Okay, I guess I would want Elizabeth Warren to be the president.
Wow, I never thought I'd hear you say such words.
Out
You
of those
traitor.
three. Wait. I take it back. Nancy Pelosi. But
That's president?
yeah,
Wow.
but her vice president is Bernie Sanders.
Well, I feel like you could just say that with anyone. It's like, but
No, but she's the oldest. Like she's most
she's-
likely to die faster.
that's a good point.
And then put Hillary on the Supreme Court just so I don't have to fucking see her so much. And then Elizabeth Warren can be Nancy's first lady.
All right.
I don't know.
This is the dumbest game I've ever
It
heard of.
hurt my brain to say all of those words that I just said.
This is literally the dumbest game that I've ever read about in fiction. And I've read some bad fiction. Like I read The Witcher, the game with Glint. Doesn't matter. Stupid.
No idea.
Lots of bad games of fantasy fiction. That game's worse.
It just makes me see like what a hack writer this guy is. Like I know when he wrote this scene, he was just like
I got it.
jerking off at the typewriter. He was like, I found a way to do fuck, marry, kill, but in a political way. Anyway, enough of this shit.
That's what it is. It is fuck, marry, kill. God damn it.
You didn't realize that?
I mean, no.
Okay, I guess maybe one last thing about this guy, Andrew Schaefer, the guy who made these stupid books. On the Amazon page for this book, there's a picture of him standing next to good old Uncle Joe.
Did Joe buy him an ice cream? I hope so.
And it's like a Q&A with the author, and I'm definitely not going to read the whole thing, but just the part that's on the page here. Maybe that's all there is. Question. Where did the idea for Hope Never Dies come from? Now, this is telling to me. This is how surface level, how bullshit all of this stuff is. The first time I saw Joe Biden in his Ray-Ban aviators, I thought, that guy's an action hero. The sunglasses, the suit, the dead serious stare. You think you're looking at James Bond. And then he opens his mouth and sticks his foot in it, and you realize he's closer to Leslie Nielsen. I toyed with the idea of a solo Joe Biden novel for years. Jesus, guy. Fucking just end it now. But it never really went anywhere. When the Obama-Biden bromance memes began circulating on the internet during the final months in office, I dusted off the idea of doing a Joe Biden send-up and tweaked it, namely, to add President Obama as the Sherlock to Joe's Watson. Was it a challenge to write action scenes for a protagonist who's 75 years old? Surprisingly not. Joe Biden is in fantastic shape. I had to hobble him with a bum knee just to make things competitive between him and the bad guys. Do you have a particular favorite Bidenism that you wrote? Pie a la mode. Hold the pie. It says it all, folks. Does it? I don't know.
So ice cream?
Yes, it means he just likes ice cream.
Jesus. This guy's a genius. Look, I've been reading more books in my life.
Well, I mean, you got the PDF of the first one ready to go.
I do.
I really, yeah. Okay.
You know, the bro memes, I remember those. I hate them.
Yeah.
I blame a lot of that on Parks and Rec, which actually I really liked as a show, but like Leslie Knope's just love of Joe Biden in the show, I feel like caused a lot of those memes. I don't know why.
Maybe. I mean, she
was
also worshipped, at the altar of all of these people. She loved like Pelosi and Hillary.
Oh yeah, I know. And often that character was being made fun of, so that's fine. As was everyone in that show, but
yeah,
whatever. I don't know where I'm going with that.
It's all right. I don't know where. This is a bit of a. So, sort of in line with like with these like pathetic, I guess, liberal fantasies, we can turn our attention to some news that some people are really excited about lately. The West Wing's idealism looks even better 20 years after its first Emmy. It's the title of this short article here that I found. There's supposed to be some sort of West Wing reunion. I think they're doing like a special for HBO, and it's also, the whole point of it is to like get people to vote for Biden. Naturally. But just reading what this guy writes about it, like, just seems so out of touch, but it's also like very mainstream. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but like just the fawning praise for Sorkin and the West Wing is really kind of funny. If you already, like me, have like learned what a kind of like destructive, poisonous influence this show had on actual politics, because some of the people that were like in the Obama administration, the Pod Save guys, like the speechwriters and other folks who worked there, they like literally said they imagined themselves like being on like the real life West Wing, like White House, and acted as such. The West Wing cast will reunite before the election for an HBO special, benefiting the voter participation group When We All Vote. Watching the series again 20 years after its first of 4 consecutive Best Drama Emmys, it's remarkable how Aaron Sorkin's creation holds up, and how much of the Bartlett presidency still echoes through our current politics. Revisiting the NBC series underscores the patriotism and idealism, as well as intelligence and humor the show embodied. In The West Wing, the dialogue came in rapid-fire bursts as people executed those famous walk-and-talk sequences through the halls, while the simple phrase, "I serve at the pleasure of the president," could put a lump in your throat.
Aww.
Jesus, that makes me sick. Underlying it all was an aspirational quality. That this wasn't how government functioned necessarily, but how you could hope the people tasked with these jobs and decisions would behave, even if you didn't agree with every policy decision or outcome. Here's the thing about the West Wing that I know. Every sort of victory for them was pivoting towards the exact center.
Because you have to meet in the middle.
That's what was considered like a great triumph in the mind of Aaron Sorkin, was reaching across the aisle and so on, which is a load of horse shit. I mean, talk about fantasy. Like, I mean, I'll leave it to other podcasts that focus on dissecting the West Wing, but
should I watch the West Wing?
give it. I want you to try to get past the first 10 minutes of the first episode. I bet it's difficult, because it was for me.
I've got One Piece to watch, or something enlightening. Another goddamn anime to watch. I need my escapist fantasy. Sorry.
That's a good point, though, because I think there's like a fine line maybe between like comfort and escapism, which I mean, of course, like I participate in.
I hope so. It's healthy.
But then there's this other form of I think it's beyond escapism when you're imagining like
a form of Fantasyland.
Well, like you're imbuing a political figure with qualities that just don't exist. Like, for example, Joe Biden wants to give everyone health care. No, he fucking doesn't. You're getting that idea from the old Uncle Joe persona. Like,
he definitely doesn't want to give everyone health care.
But like we've talked about before, it seems that some people believe that that's what he's planning to do. And, you know, not everybody's informed, and I get it. Like, people are busy. But so then they rely on these like caricatures of these figures, and I don't know. It leads us astray, folks. It's not good. And we shouldn't have to even find politicians to be personable. Like, that should not be such a high priority. Like, I want a sort of stilted, like, socially awkward person like Ralph Nader making important decisions, because that's all he cares about is being like is civics and like and doing what's right. Yeah, you can't have a fun conversation with him probably, but who gives a fuck?
I feel like I'd have more fun talking to him than Biden. But
you know what I'm saying is, like, they can't put like together like a video package of Nader like eating ice cream and driving a car and doing
riding
all that
a bicycle,
doing all that shit. That's the only thing that they have left with someone like Biden is like, look at him, he just put on sunglasses, and like that's enough to tide people over for like 6 months.
With one hand, guys. He drank water with one hand.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. This shit, the walking down stairs or whatever, drinking water. I mean, that's even worse. That's even more minutia. But like this idea that like your personality counts to some degree. Like, you don't want to like a fucking total psychopath, sociopath there. But like, I mean, that kind of stuff. I mean, actually, sociopaths and psychopaths are quite good at appearing very normal and personable.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's like the stereotypical politician, right? The like shake your hand and then stab you with the other.
That's what movies would have me believe.
That's what reality has me believe about all kinds of things.
Oh no, I'm sure they all have our best interest in heart. They want to make sure that the job creators can keep creating jobs so that everyone can get jobs and have health care that's provided for by their jobs as long as they get a full-time job at their job. And lots of jobs offer full-time jobs because lots of jobs want to make sure that people get full-time jobs so that they can have benefits offered by the workplace.
I'm going to put a counter on how many times you just said jobs.
Jobs. Jobs for everyone.
What else are we going to talk about? I mean, I'm done with the fucking West Wing thing. Like the article is so just ridiculous. I'll link it. Like, if you know how gross and fucked up that show is already, you should check out this article. It's short and it's this pathetic guy just sucking it off. I mean, there's no other words for it, really.
People love that show.
I think another huge example of this kind of absurd, fawning over and creating the personas of these political people is at least of recently, probably the last 5 or so years of Saturday Night Live, which I haven't watched at all, but I've just seen kind of from the sidelines. And people are letting that dictate the way they feel about politics. Did you see Melissa McCarthy do blah blah blah? Man, fuck Sean Spicer. It's well, okay, but I don't know. I tried to watch one SNL thing today just in preparation for this podcast, and I couldn't make it. It was 5 minutes long. And it was just so, I mean, it was just painfully bad, on a comedy level. But what it was doing politically was really nauseating as well. Because it was yeah, I mean, it was just doing it. It was just doing typical neo-lib shit. It was just Pod Save America, the TV show. I think they do have a TV show anyway, but
I haven't seen Saturday Night Live in a long time, and I generally like to stay away from their politics stuff.
Yeah, I mean, stay away from all of it, but okay, one part I saw that was ridiculous, okay? It was supposed to be the impeachment process of Trump, and they just did a couple of bad impressions. They had some guy doing Mitch McConnell, and it was just him going, dirt, 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 dirt. Anyway. But then finally, they're and here's another witness, Hunter Biden. And I was oh, fuck yeah, Hunter Biden. But who comes in playing him? What's his name? Pete Davidson.
Okay.
I have an irrational, maybe not irrational.
The edgy Saturday Night Live guy.
I have an immediate hatred of this guy.
The edgy guy. Yeah, I don't know enough about him, but I understand.
He came in on a fucking, what do you call it? God damn it.
Scooter. Electronic scooter. No? A skateboard.
It's called hoverboard, right?
Hoverboard.
But it's misnamed. It shouldn't be called a hoverboard.
Like an electrical scooter?
With the one with the wheels on both sides that you just stand on top of.
Segway?
Without the handle.
Yeah. And that's what I'm getting at.
He had one pull off of a vape, and it blew some vape, and then he came rolling in on the hoverboard, and he said,
Your Honor, I object. If we're hearing from John Bolton, we should hear from Hunter Biden, too.
Oh, you know I'm calling Hunter Biden, too. What do you think, I hate hilarious witnesses? The court calls Hunter Biden. Well, Hunter, thank you for coming.
Hey, you're not gonna believe this, but my schedule was wide open.
And how exactly are you mixed up in all of this?
I'm not. The president is just kind of pointing at me to distract from his own crimes.
And what's your current job?
Oh, I'm on the board of a Brazilian money laundering company called Nepotismo.
So you admit you only got the job because of your father?
That's right. I've been selling Biden steaks from my office at the top of Biden Tower and letting foreign leaders stay at Biden-Alago. Oh, wait, no, that's the president's sons. You burnt!
And the thing is yes, all the shit that they're implying about Trump's kids is true. Of course, there's a ton of corruption there, but Hunter Biden is also in the same sort of position.
He's the board of I don't remember the company's name.
He's on some like phony fucking money laundering companies. Like he's like, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's clearly nepotism the same way that the Trump kids have like nepotism, and it's clearly corrupt. It's
the Ukrainian energy.
Yeah, the thing in the Ukraine.
Company.
I mean, Hunter Biden is getting paid to sit on his ass, basically. A lot of money. But,
lucky guy.
I don't know. That's one example, but...
Lucky guy with his golden parachute.
Yeah.
I've never once sat on a board.
Of any sort?
Well, it depends on how we're defining boards. I've sat on a few benches, which I guess have boards. But
hoverboard, skateboard.
I've sat on a skateboard
the board
before.
of a company. Yeah, I'm shocked.
No one's ever wanted me to be on the board of a company. If you do, I have some skills. Do you think these fan fictions start to become reality to some degree? I mean, maybe not like the internet fan fiction, but like the stuff Saturday Night Live does, or like just narratives told about people. Like people start to believe it. Like people definitely believe like the Saturday Night Live bits. Like people take that stuff way more serious than I would ever expect.
Yeah, I mean, like public figures get like mythologized all the time, and I mean obviously not just in politics either, but I think it's more fucked up when it does happen in politics because it allows people to get away with a lot of shit. Like, okay, the myth of Bill Clinton in the 90s. He was the cool saxophone guy who liked hamburgers. Right? Or
I like hamburgers.
And he cheated on his wife, but isn't that kind of cool?
Who
also
hasn't?
Secretly, like, I don't know, like public personas are just like they're a useful tool for politicians, I guess.
If
And
Trump's taught future politicians of America anything, is if you've cheated on your wife, just be upfront about it. Don't deny it. Don't own it either. Just ignore it and keep doing your thing.
yeah, I mean, Trump's whole thing is just not giving a shit what anybody says and not caring how much of a hypocrite he is, and it's kind of working for him in a way.
It's kind of terrifying, but
I'm not saying it's a good thing, but like, I feel like that's what a lot of people like. I hate that I keep having to like distinguish between the left and liberals, but like a lot of liberals don't seem to understand that it doesn't matter how much like hypocrisy you point out to these people. It doesn't matter how many times you try to reach across the aisle and make a gesture of unity. What they do is ruthlessly attack their enemies, and we are their enemies. And I think what people on the actual left are trying to say is that we need to do the same thing back. not necessarily play by their same rules of like, of like lying and like, we don't need to lie. Like, we can just make the case that we have a better vision for the future. But this idea that you can kind of like cozy up and get along with, and all the pictures of all the rehabilitating
George W.
Bush, all that shit makes me so sick.
He's a painter, I mean, he's painting pictures now. He's giving to charity. He's playing golf with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, the nice guy who put lots of people in jail. They're doing things together. They're working on the same boards.
Well, I've got a good museum he can go to and fucking never leave from. The Hague.
I've never heard of that museum.
I mean, it's really disgusting. Like, and the thing is like people are moved by these narratives. Like Michelle Obama comforting George W. Bush at a funeral or whatever the fuck that was. Like, why? Why does that warm your heart? He should be in prison. And so should she, probably.
I don't know. I mean, she just cared about school lunches, man. She doesn't seem that bad.
Well,
I mean, they all seem really bad to me, actually, but everyone. Sorry, I was having a bit of a mumblecore moment where everything coming out of my mouth was just mumbles of internal dialogue that I let escape. For that, I apologize. I feel like the disconnect in reality and the fiction from parody and other stuff is kind of interesting because I do think there's a lot of people who would love to like impeach Trump. I know they tried, and I think at a different time it would have been easier, but now people are like just so obsessed with like, first off, their team, and second, just like these realities they create around their politicians. And even something like the Bob Woodward recordings that are big in the news now about Trump, they don't matter because the people who support him don't care what he says because they have this like fictional image of like what Trump is and how he's saving America, and it doesn't matter what he does. But the same is also true for someone like, say, Biden. It doesn't matter if Biden comes out and says, I'm in support of fracking, I'm not going to ban it, or if he bans like or votes down every green energy deal that gets put to him in the Senate. People will say, no, Biden's the option for the environment, because people believe this fiction that's been sold to them.
Or if 8 women come forward with
sexual allegations,
including one that's quite serious.
In Biden's defense, there have been 24 come forward about Trump.
How is that?
I'm just going by numbers here. 8 is smaller than 24.
Yeah. Bloomberg has more than all of them combined.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I've never looked into Bloomberg's.
Oh, Bloomberg's a real piece of shit.
Wow. It's almost like it's almost like rich, powerful men suck.
There was like when the Tara Reid thing first started up, like there seemed to be this meme circulating that was like, it was like a picture of Bloomberg and it was like 80 something accusations, and it was a picture of Trump, whatever it was, 20 something, maybe, I think it might be more than that even. And then Biden's was like 8, and it's a picture of Biden smiling with his stupid fucking sunglasses on, and the point was to be like, look at him, he only has 8, he's our guy. Like, yeah, the denial of that was like, even it's just as fucked up as people denying the fracking thing. And like, I just heard recently actually about the fracking deal. There was this like kind of famous documentary about fracking called Gasland, I think.
Oh, cool. I mean,
did you hear?
I didn't hear about it. I'm gonna.
And the guy who made it was named Josh Fox, and apparently he's just a complete like spineless, like no real convictions kind of guy, because he, of course, like he made this documentary about how evil fracking is, and it was like nominated for like Academy Award, and like he's just trying to like work his way up. But now he's out there like screaming at people to vote for Biden, while Biden is literally saying like, and the thing is you can find quotes of him, and this is again the thing of like, it doesn't even matter if you call people out on their hypocrisy, like no matter what side, but he can still find it within himself to like shriek in defense of Biden, while he said his number one issue like was to stop fracking. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I think one of the problems too is that a lot of these so-called like influencers is the wrong word, but I don't know, people, yeah, influencer, I guess, like people that have some sort of influence, even like this film director guy, I'm sure he has a little bit. Like, these people are fucking nihilists. I'm convinced. Like, how could you really believe in anything? How could you believe in anything if your documentary, this thing you like supposedly dedicated your life to, and he was calling out every other politician before Biden that was like pro fracking, right? Biden comes along in this time and it's like, well, I could turn a blind eye to that. How? You're just like flushing down everything you said down the fucking toilet.
Well, obviously it's because the other option is so much worse, and he is.
But he still won't even criticize Biden's position. He could even be like, listen, I still think we should vote for him, but it's really fucked up that he just like really doubled down on the fracking thing. And I'm the famously no fracking guy.
Imagine if that was their approach to get us to vote for them. As in what you just said, we don't like that the policy from this person's this way either, and we should fight to try to change it as much as possible. And we will, but we still think this is the best possible choice, instead of saying, do you hate everything? Do you want a dictator?
I mean,
your only option is to vote blue. Yada, yada, yada.
I mean, that's more annoying, but I think both of them are still like kind of contemptible. I guess one is less than the other, but
I mean, one is more persuasive than the other, but
at least makes you look like less of a fucking idiot and a hypocrite to at least acknowledge it. And I don't know, maybe he has acknowledged it. I didn't look too far into the story, but it's just something that popped up the other day, and it just made me I had a mental note: do not watch anything by this guy.
So, do you think our politicians deserve all the fan fiction they get?
So the fan fiction.
I think it's weird that I guess it's not weird that fan fiction is being written about them. They're in the media constantly, so of course people latch onto them and decide to write scenarios about them.
We got to distinguish between like fan fiction, like the shit that nerds write online, and then like what we're more veering towards in our conversation, which is this false mask version of these politicians that people take as reality. the fan fiction thing, I mean, that's just like, that was just like a funny curiosity. That was like a way into talking about something else, I guess. Like, fan fiction's insane. I mean, I don't know a lot about it, but I know that like too much of it exists, and that a lot of it is fucked up. I guess there's like slash fiction, right? Which is like,
there's a lot of Harry Draco slash fiction out there.
And wait, what was the question?
Ha! Isn't it weird the way we mythologize our politicians?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's just more a destructive tendency that I don't think is going to go away anytime soon either, because it's almost like, it's like a time-saving device, right? It's like, give me the cliff notes, give me the summary. What's this guy all about?
But
and then, because most people, like the normal people, are not going to spend like even 1 hour a day like looking into like political issues online, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get your news from the Daily Show.
Well, there's that, but then there's also like, there's just people who are working all the time. I mean, like, don't have time for that shit. So they're gonna like watch the news for like 5 to 20 minutes a day, maybe, and be like, I like the way that Biden looks on TV, you know? I hate the way that Trump looks on TV. And that's the levers pulled that way. And but even people that do spend all day like on political Twitter are suckers for this kind of bullshit, like the K Hive and like the fucking Liz lads. Like
the Liz lads. Is that what they're called, really?
Someone called them that once and I picked it up. I don't know. It was an obvious reaction to people
Bernie
being
Bros.
called Bernie Bros, yeah. And that's another thing is, like, let's make this a circular firing squad here. Let's turn the revolver on ourselves. Like, as much as I said that, you know, I don't see Bernie really like trying to sell himself as like a person or a persona. Like, people have turned him into that a little bit, but just like, I think way less so than most other politicians get turned into that. Because when you talk to like a real Bernie stan, whatever, like someone who's just really passionate about Bernie becoming president, or was, whatever, they'll often be like, I mean, the whole what was the fucking slogan of the 2020 campaign? Not me, us, right? And that almost seemed like almost too on the nose, but it's like, it's a way better slogan than I'm with her, or Make America Great Again, or whatever the fuck.
What is Biden's slogan?
I couldn't even tell you, man.
Does he have one?
I mean, some funny podcast guys, not us, once said that his slogan should just be, "Come on, man," because he says that quite a lot.
Wow, his slogan's really long.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, don't suspense.
Restore the soul of America. Our best days still lie ahead.
That can't be the slogan. You're just like reading
This is
website.
America. We are America. Second to none. Anything is possible. No malarkey. Build back better. Unite for a better America.
You just read like 20 slogans.
Yeah.
That's not all.
But when I Googled Biden's campaign slogan, the slogan slot says all of this in one.
Yes.
Not bro. I guess these are multiple slogans.
They are,
God.
of course. I've heard all of them individually.
Yeah. Unite for a better America. Yeah, they work better when you don't
there's-
try to read there's no punctuation between these, so it really just looks like restore the soul of America, our best days still lie ahead. This is America. We are America.
Come on,
Second
man.
to none, anything is possible.
Learn how to
No
read
blocking.
Google.
Build back better, unite for a better. Oh God, I wish that was the slogan. Now I'm so sad.
Well, yeah, because you'd get to watch him like trip over it like every time.
I was like, God, they just wrote down what he said. It's like, oh, he's speaking a lot. We better write this down right now.
But the restore the soul of America. Tell me how that's any different than make America great again.
It's not.
It's literally the same sentiment.
It's a lot like our best days still lie ahead. This is America. We are America.
That's also what's hilarious about the Trump slogan now this time around. It's only been 4 years, and they're like, he's already made America great. So what's the new slogan? Keep it great. I don't think they made new hats, though. I think people are still just wearing the MAGA hats.
They should make blue hats this time just to troll people.
Blue hat. That was that had something to do with like Andrew Yang.
Probably. Did it?
People, I don't know why, but like that's like the symbol of a Yang person. The Yang gang is to have a blue hat emoji in your Twitter handle.
God, I hate that every fucking politician has like their crew's name, like Bernie Bros and Liz Lads and Yang Gangs and MAGA.
Yeah, but Yang Gang named themselves, and K-Hive named themselves. Bernie Bros is clearly like propaganda, like anti-Bernie propaganda shit.
Yeah, I don't imagine Bernie was ever sitting down at his desk.
Why?
Like, I'll call them Bernie Bros.
Well, I mean, it's only used in a derogatory way. But you probably knew this, but like in the 2008 election, the Hillary campaign did the exact same, like the exact same thing. They called them Obama's boys. It just didn't take off the way that Bernie Bros did. But they tried to like shame people. They tried to make people seem sexist for supporting Obama.
I remember this.
Yeah, it was Obama's boys. And I mean, the internet was not quite as all-pervasive, I guess, as it is now. Then
it really felt like it was, though, from what I remember.
2008? I mean, it would have been 2007. I mean, iPhone, like, what, just came out?
That's true. It wasn't in our pockets, but it was...
Twitter hadn't taken off or anything.
I used the internet a lot.
I mean, I used it a lot, too, but I'm saying is, like all-pervasive, meaning, like the general populace wasn't, like, 24/7 just like being pumped through with information the way that it seems now. Shit. Have we run out? Or
it's okay if we have.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts? On this
I don't know. I think we wanted to do. I blame myself. I think we couldn't decide between like a more lighthearted, silly, like let's read a bunch of ridiculous fan fiction, and then sort of at the last minute, I thought it would be better to like try to do a big overview of the whole phenomenon. And also it's late and I worked today, and
I don't think you have to apologize.
Yeah, just like I think like 50% of this is gonna make it to whatever we do. We'll see. Also we got recommendations. I think I got a good one, but I don't need to take a break.
Okay.
You final thoughts? My final thought was me just like analyzing what we had just done. I think there's no other bigger point I could have made about any of this that I didn't already kind of make or try to make. So yeah, what do you think?
It's been said way too much, but I think it's way too easy to confuse reality and fiction, and that it would help a lot of people to try to step back and think about the two and not get too wrapped up in just like blue team versus red team stuff.
Amen. I agree.
Because both teams suck.
Equally.
I'm
Black pill, motherfucker.
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it? The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?
Okay, before we get to the general recommendations, I have a special thanks to my girlfriend, Haywan. She had the great idea to preface this episode with what I would write if I wrote political fan fiction. Which I thought was a really smart idea. And when we were talking about it, she said what her fan fiction would be about American politics. And she's not American. She doesn't follow American politics all too closely. But she does like a lot of movies. So she said in her fan fiction, there would be like a Terminator 2 style, like apocalyptic landscape. And then Bruce Willis with bare feet would emerge and he would shoot Donald Trump in the head. And oh wait, this was all prefaced by Haywan on like Fifth Avenue in a sort of Sex and the City scenario, just like buying stuff and being fabulous.
Would this be Bruce Willis, the actor? Or
this would be Bruce Willis circa the first Die Hard film.
Okay.
The bare feet, the reference point. And in her American political fan fiction, the eternal president would be Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road. So, thanks for the idea, Haywan, and thanks for the striking imagery of 3 or 4 Hollywood movies mashed together as a portrait of American politics. Recommendations?
Sure, let's do recommendations.
Shall I or shall you? We should really work these things out off mic. Doesn't matter at all.
That would show a level of planning that disagrees with my sensibilities. That's not how we do things around here. Not when the end is approaching quickly. I guess I'll recommend first. I feel like I'm always recommending TV, but right now I'm watching The Boys, and I really like season 2 of The Boys.
You recommended that before.
I know I did. But you know what else?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were just going to do the same thing again.
I am doing the same thing again.
All right.
No.
Additional information?
So I went and read the comic for The Boys. And I don't like it near as much as the show. God damn it. I forgot that I recommended it. Motherfuck. I don't like anything right now. I don't know if I have recommendations.
We can just stop this and you can think of something. I'm sorry.
No. No.
Why don't I just give mine and
Give
you
your
can think of
recommendation.
something along the way.
I recommended that actually. It was just on my mind. I watched an episode last night.
All right. I would like to recommend a docu-series called One Strange Rock. It's on Netflix. I watched it maybe a few months ago and just watched like all 8 of them in one go. It's like to sum it up, it's kind of a nature documentary, but with a twist. I'll just read the premise here. One Strange Rock tells the story of how life survives and thrives on planet Earth, as told by 8 astronauts from their unique perspective of being away from Earth for about 1,000 days. And I watched one episode, and the first thing I noticed before the episode even started properly was it's produced by Darren Aronofsky, which made me perk up a little bit because he's a director I generally like quite a bit.
I have mixed feelings.
Yeah, I mean latter day stuff for sure, but just the fact that I don't know, a serious kind of director, whatever you think of him, was producing this nature show. It made me think this isn't going to be a typical planet Earth type nature show, and I like those shows as well. But no, this is much more. I don't know, apocalyptic, I guess. They didn't go into the heat death of the universe, I don't think, but it seems like something they might do in season 2. And actually they might have even done it. I just don't remember. But there are just some really amazing footage from space of the Earth. And then one of the episodes I really liked a lot, I think it might be the first one. It just it showed all the interconnected systems on Earth and how they operate and how you can see them so clearly from the vantage point of the space station. And yeah, it was really, I don't know, it was kind of a powerful show. And after I say all this stuff, I will also mention that the narrator is Will Smith.
Oh, nice.
Which, I don't know, makes you almost think it's it can't be that serious because Will Smith is narrating it. But, he does a good job of reading somebody else's words. And the stuff that the astronauts have to say is really fascinating. And I don't know. I think you don't even have to be particularly interested in science. I think one of the first episodes I watched was just about how the Earth is protected from the sun, this constant barrage of heat and energy that we never really think about. And it's stuff that you kind of learned maybe in middle school or high school science classes, but I don't know. It made me reappreciate it in a way, and it goes into more detail than that too. And
So it's a bit like the Carl Sagan show.
I would say better. I think I liked it. I think I liked it more than Cosmos, maybe. The original Cosmos. Fuck Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I really liked the original Cosmos.
No, me too.
I never watched the Neil.
It's a different.
Tyson. I never watched the other one.
Yeah, I
As a kid, I watched the original one though, and I really liked the original ones when I was a kid.
it's good. This show's a little different. It's not like, it's more Earth centric, I guess. And it talks about like kind of like the creation of the Earth and like how it was created through like just this violent storm of energy and things like that. But yeah, I mean, here we go. One sentence description of each episode. We'll go fast. Gasp. This is the one I was actually talking about. An astronaut's view of the incredible Earth systems that allow life to breathe. That one actually like gets into a lot of like what is terrifying about climate change, because it's talking about how the rainforests are like the lungs of the Earth, and how disrupting like one part of the ocean, like in, I don't know, the other side of the world, can have this ripple effect which like kills some trees, or lots, too many. Then there's a portrayal of how the Earth was born in a cosmic storm shaped by violence. The one where the epic story of the Earth's battle with the sun and how life thrives here against the odds, and so on. There's like how and why life began on Earth. It's very good, and I'm almost thinking about watching it again now, just thinking about it.
I think I might try to check it out.
It's very good. You got something you haven't recommended before?
I do. I have not recommended this. I'm going to recommend one of my favorite YouTube videos. And this YouTube video is from 11 fucking years ago. And it's 3 minutes, actually 2 minutes and 59 seconds of pure bliss, in my opinion. The title of the YouTube video is Psycho Mall Walker. And it is about a happy walker girl who spends all of her days walking around the mall. And I love this video, and whenever I need a bit of joy in my life, it is one of the things I turn to in life. And I watch it, and I think, wow, Earth is a beautiful place where people can walk in malls, or could, at least 10 years ago. I don't really know if malls exist anymore. From what I understand, most of them are closed now. But for some reason, this video brings me so much joy, and I think it would bring you joy too, just to watch it.
I'll have to check it out then.
And it sounds like I'm being sarcastic here, but it's really 3 minutes of just pure bliss, in my opinion.
What was it called again?
Psycho Mall Walker. It's a Doug Moxley video. 329,000 views. That's a lot of views.
More views than we have on our almost non-existent YouTube page.
Give us 11 years.
Yeah, we'll get there.
11 years.
Speaking of that, I've got to update that thing. And speaking of having to update that thing, let's turn off this recorder so we can get proper crunk.
Yes. Let's record stop and say goodnight.
You just made me panic for a second that I had pressed stop instead of record earlier. Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Adios. If I had space for a grill, I'd buy a goddamn grill.
If I had a hammer, I'd hammer me a grill.
If I only had a brain.
pissed. Might as well just let it run. Something funny might happen.
It's no good trying to place your hand where I can't see, because I understand that you're different from me. Yes, I can tell that you can't be what you pretend. And you're rocking backwards and you're rocking towards the red and yellow mane of a stallion horse. No good trying to hold your love where I can't see, because I understand that you're different from me. Yes, I can tell that you can't be what you pretend. The caterpillar hood won't cover the head of you. Know you should be home in bed. Holding a sequin fan where I can't see, because I understand that you're